The following is a KPB Media Works production.
Choose your fighter.
How's it going, guys? This is KPB Rodimus Prime back again with another episode of KPBCast. I just want to remind you guys always to listen to our different podcasts. Or we are on different channels, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts. So make sure you check it out. If you're driving on the go, you don't want to see my face, the best way to check it out. And I'm excited today because I have such a cool person in the house today. She just rocks left and right,
Oh.
and I'll let you guys find out for yourself. This is Francie. We know her personally as Francis, but we'll say Francie. Francie, how you doing today? How's everything?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good today. Thank you for having me. I've been excited. We've been in the
I know.
talks for a while, for like a year now.
For,
I feel
for a while, but like life has taken over and things have
Yeah.
happened. But hey, we're here and I'm happy and we get to do this. So let's move forward. Now,
Yes.
tell us about yourself, a little bit about yourself, where you're from, simple stuff, the basics.
Okay, so I'm born and raised from New York, the Bronx specifically. I
Hey.
currently live in Queens. Yeah.
Mhm.
BX. BX.
Yes.
It's so funny because you remember Damon, right? From
Yes.
Bifuteki. He
Mhm.
randomly texted me. This is like me veering off, but he was like,
Mhm.
"Do people from the Bronx actually do that all the time? Like the BX thing?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I sent him like a
Yeah.
whole bunch of pictures that I had from different events where we all did that all the time, and it was recent.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
it's
dope.
just a Bronx thing.
Yes.
Anyways, I am probably the biggest nerd that you'll meet. I love video games. I recently started skating, so I'm really big into skating. Um, I guess overall, anything that has like a really good community, I'm really drawn to it. So
Mhm.
I feel like that's where I'm at right now in that. So that's my little
So
spiel.
it's your little world, your little ecosystem, I guess. Um, as a female, right? Can I say you were into games since a child, or how did that come about?
hmm Yeah, so I've been into video games since I could remember. My mom, I always say this, like my mom and my grandma were probably the people that got me into video games. I just had them. Like I remember just having a Nintendo and just it appearing one day. Like I don't remember where it came from, but I just had
Mhm.
it. And I've been into it since forever. And I still have most of my original consoles and they're in really good shape and I just love them. They really shaped who I am today, and I love them. Like I still play them all the time. Like I speed run The Lion King and
Oh,
Aladdin and
okay.
all like Super Nintendo games and stuff. So
You live on the
I've been
dangerous
playing for
side,
a
I see.
while.
So wait a minute. So let me dial this back a bit. You are a third generation gamer. Is that what you're saying?
But I feel like they didn't really play, but they just bought it for me. It's like they just knew I would love it. My
Mhm.
mom played a little bit, but not as much as me. Like they just had it for me. I don't even remember. The first console that I know I asked for was the Super Nintendo, and
Mhm.
then I picked the PlayStation. Like that was my big purchase in my head, I guess, because I went
Yeah.
from baby games to PlayStation and Resident Evil. Like
Oh.
that was a huge year for me. So it was like, do you want to uh was it Nintendo 64 or
Mhm.
PlayStation? And I chose PlayStation.
Well, without giving away a lady's age, like how old can you say you were when you started when you played Resident Evil? Like, or, what grade were
Resident
you in, or
Evil,
like, or what school
that
were you
was
in?
like elementary school.
Okay, all right.
Elementary school. The internet was not a thing, I think, back
Hmm.
then.
No,
So I
a little
would
bit, maybe
maybe
some AOL, maybe some, not
yes, yes.
really in the home yet, So, but
Yeah, I
was it scary
GameFAQs
for
was
you?
probably around.
Game
Yes,
facts, yes.
it was Yes, Resident Evil was terrifying. Was terrifying. And the reason why I actually started playing was my grandmother's best friend, her family would take care of me sometimes, and her son was like my mom's best friend as well. So he was like my uncle. He's still like my uncle. He checks up on me all the time, and he had a PlayStation, and he was like finishing up, I think, Resident Evil 1 director's cut. And I just
Mm.
remember being at his house super terrified behind him, like, oh my god, this is the scariest game I've seen. I want it. And I remember seeing like a commercial for Resident Evil 2 in it, because like at
Mm.
the end you could see it, and I was just like
Yeah.
blown away by the graphics and everything, and I was just terrified of that game.
So is that the game that that cemented you as a gamer, you think, or were there other games before that?
I think so. Yeah, because I remember just like making a list and making sure that I needed to get that game. Um, and then like every other game I had was like Spice Girls, Rugrats. Like that's what my family bought me, and I'm like, no, I want
Right.
zombies and blood.
Yeah, right. Well, quote unquote, or supposedly girly games. I want the real stuff. I want the action. You know.
Yeah,
Um. Go ahead. Sorry.
I freaking no. Like I'm just thinking about it, and how like you were talking about like the internet, it wasn't a thing. So like I would call up my friends to like get the hints, and just like, where do I go now? Like, it's like I love the puzzle part of it, but some of them I was just like, I can't figure this crap out, and I don't
Right.
want to keep seeing these zombies. So I would call my friends on the phone, and they would just like walk me through.
And I think you played the director's cut, so I think there was some minor changes compared to the original release. Nothing crazy. I think it was more graphical and maybe camera angles. Um,
Yeah, they said they released that like in between 2 to like make
mhm.
up for just having something come out in the US,
Right.
and that's why they put out director's cut. But I that's like the one that I love. Um, I love 2. 2 is my favorite, but like 1 is where what started it all, and I love that game.
When
I know
are,
most of the cutscenes by heart.
that's really good. Are you still a fan of the series today?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh I I really love the remake. I didn't play 3, like remake of 3 or anything like that.
Hmm.
But it's just too scary. Like I like watching people play. Like I get really into it, so I get scared.
Mm. I was watching when they did I think it was 2 and like the Mr. X and
Oh
like
my
I
god.
never touched the
Don't
game,
get
right?
me.
But I've watched so many people play it, and like all the the X gonna give it to you memes that used to have me crying for at least a good 2 months.
They're amazing.
Um,
I love them.
yeah, it's so terrible. It's like you're playing, and then this guy just like bursts out of the door or something, kicks the door down. I'm like, oh my god, what the hell? And then like you run, and it's just like, freeze up. Like
I didn't
it was,
finish playing Claire's part at all.
uh-huh. Okay.
I didn't finish because her part is mostly X, and I was like, no, I'm done. Nah, I'm good.
You're like, "No,
I
nah,
can't.
I'm chill. I'm good. Um, my favorite was 5. I liked 5 for some reason. Something
Oh,
about
5 was
5.
good.
Uh, maybe because I was good at it too. Like I was like I would play it on expert and like get the SS ranks and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
um, but it's something about that game that like for me, and I know if you ask a lot of people who play, the whole series, most people will point to 4. I think
Mhm.
as their favorite. So I guess 5 is kind of like a 4.5, kind of like they use
Yeah.
that system and I guess in their minds improved it. So because and plus also because I didn't play a whole lot of 4, I played more 5 than anything. So 5 was my
I
favorite.
never
So
played 4. That's like
what?
I've never played 4. Yeah, I didn't have a GameCube, so
You can't say
someone
that
made me play
publicly
it.
as a fan.
But so I played like maybe the first level,
Hmm.
and I remember playing it, and the person I was playing with was not Spanish, and in it they say like turn around, turn like when somebody's chasing you, it's like
Mm.
turn around, and they're telling you stuff in Spanish, and I'm like, why are people screaming stuff at me in Spanish? He's like, that's Spanish? What are they saying? I'm like, turn around, I'm gonna kill you, turn around, I'm to the left. Like they were just screaming stuff out, and he was like, wow. that makes so much sense. And they're like kind of helping you go wherever you need to go or something. And I was like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. But when that was in college. So I
Hmm.
played 5 with him, and that was like the first time co-op was available, right? Because I remember that was a
Right.
big thing for 5. We played co-op a lot, and that was really fun. I
Yeah, that was
enjoyed that.
the big draw for me. The big draw was like, hey, I need help.
Mhm.
Come play with me, and it was just fun. It was just fun. I
Yeah.
never complained about the the control schematic, right? Like it's not. I get it. It's not ideal, especially if you
Mhm.
play like FPSs or something, and range of motion and stuff. But like for
Yeah.
its own like continuum, like I didn't have a
Yeah.
problem with it. I didn't mind a quick turn button, and just like
Yeah. It's
being
like
able
you
to. It
need
was it
that
was
stuff.
fun. Hmm. You
It's
do
like you
need it.
need it
So.
for Resident Evil. Like I enjoyed 5 too. Like that one I had a lot of fun with. I didn't what did I play next? I I always go back. Like I always go back to the first one and play the second
Mhm.
one again. I'm like old school. Like I really love the older games. Like I always replay them all the time.
I think that's where I spend most of my actual gaming time. It's
Mhm.
like to relive older games and stuff, and like
Mhm.
get revenge on games that I didn't beat. So it's just like it's like it's still in my heart that like I got to defeat
Mhm.
this game and stuff like that. And as a matter of fact, recently, I don't know if you know James and Kay and like guys from the
Mhm.
MK community, Shock, summoning is an old school guy from the MK community. We're in a group and we've been challenging each other to beat each other's high scores in like old arcade games, and I stream
Oh,
it.
that's
So
awesome.
I got to go back now and stream Elevator Action because James took my high score down. So because this guy's like
That
such an
sounds so
old
much
fogey
fun.
and has like nothing better to do than to get rid of my old scores and stuff. And like, so he's getting me mad right now. And I have to go back. But that's just like, stuff that we do on the side, but that's pretty fun. Yeah, but I usually stream some of that stuff. Um,
That's awesome.
what what are some of your other like your favorite gaming franchises? You name like 2 or 3.
Oh, Halo. Halo for sure.
Mm,
That is probably the game that got me into competitive gaming. Like that
okay.
Resident Evil was like the game changer, and then Halo. I played Halo 2 a lot, but Halo
Hmm.
3 is where like it all changed. And God, I love that game. I love the franchise. I love everything about it. Like I have the books, I have the lore.
Wow.
I
Okay.
have like the Halo 3 helmet. I have like so much Halo stuff over here. Like it's kind of crazy.
Oh my god, I
But
had the Halo helmet. I think I got the legendary edition
that,
of Halo
Halo
3
3.
back it was I was late to the dance. I didn't get an Xbox 360 right away. Cuz just life. And I ended up getting one and a new way, especially back in the day used to have all these crazy deals. And
Mhm.
I guess they had a couple of legendary setups sitting around and I got it for $50. I was like, hell yeah, I get
Wow.
that. And yeah, and I had the helmet and everything, and like I used to keep all the Halo games in it because you go like 3 or 4 games inside the helmet and whatnot.
Mhm.
And I had to leave it behind because I was moving and I couldn't carry
Oh
stuff. And I was like,
man.
oh, so disappointing. But yeah, I definitely remember the Halo like setup. Um, I also remember going down to we had a lot of different gaming lounges in the city, like especially in the mid 2000s, like the mid to
Mhm.
early 2000s. And I remember I forget what it was called, but there was 2 places in the East Village. Uh, I forget the names now. I can't think of it. But I used to go to these lounges and they just have Halo 2 setups, and we used to go there
Oh wow.
and just play Halo 2. Like you spend like I think it's $5 for like 2 hours, and it would be
Nice.
like 16 setups hooked up, and people would just jump on other setups and we start a new game. It's like 8 of us playing, and it was so
That's
fun.
awesome.
And then 3, while it was my favorite Halo game, I was disappointed in not fighting a huge boss at the end, uh, but
Yeah.
just like running away, which is kind of like, you know, it was
But that's what
because
started it. I feel like
I
after that you did it in every game. Like it just became part of the ending that you had to be on the warthog getting out of something.
getting out of yeah, and I did it on legendary, so I was proud of myself, right?
Oh
Because
my
I'm
gosh.
beating the game on legendary and stuff, and then it's like I wanted to fight a huge boss or something, and it's like I'm just
Yeah.
running away and So for me, it was anticlimactic, but I do like the game, the series. It's pretty good.
I love Master Chief. I love I love the Spartan 2s. When they started veering off of like that main story, I kind of just was like disappointed. Because I think the Spartan 2s are like probably the best Spartans. Um and I like you were talking about like tournaments. I started running tournaments for Halo because I used to be an RA at my school in
Mm,
college, and we had we had 16 floors or something, but because I was on the lower floors, I took over the first 8 and had an Xbox on each floor, and whoever wanted to jump on could jump on, and we had like a huge tournament. It was so much fun.
that's
My
awesome.
best friend actually won, and I think what I gave him was like a oh my god, like an 8 gig USB drive. Like it was something really small but like huge back then.
That's
Like he
huge
was
back then.
so
Yeah, of
excited
course.
to
That's
it was
huge.
like
Like I can.
something really tiny, looking back now, but it was so much fun. And because everything was like connected, in the dorms, like anybody
Mm,
could we could do LAN all the time. So that was always sick to me. But it was so much
I hate
fun.
that they like game developers remove that. All right, like from systems, right, where you just have LAN there.
Yeah,
Now everything has to go through like a central like online gaming service, which I think sucks.
it
But
was just
yeah, I
different.
definitely
It's so much
I remember
fun.
like having friends. Like I had one friend. When I was in the Bronx, he lived over on Kingsbridge, and he literally made a hole in his wall from the living room to the bedroom to connect like multiple systems in different rooms. So we had one team in his bedroom and one team in the living room, and we would play Halo. On like on 4. It'd be 8 of us on 4 setups. So like each one had split screen and stuff.
Wow.
And it was like yeah, it was like serious,
It
like
was so much fun. Like I
Halo
miss those
fans.
days so much. People don't understand like how much fun that kind of stuff is. Like it's great to go to tournaments, but it was just different when you just did it like on a Saturday or like
Mm.
after school or something. Like it just hits different.
So
I
that's
miss.
your first foray into like kind of the tournament competitive scene, and you're
Mhm.
actually in a way a TO, right? So you've created like these tournaments and stuff.
Mhm.
How do you? What's the time period between that and then like fighting games, or like what connects those two periods for you?
Okay. So I became part of the clan that I was a part of, which was PMS in
Mm,
2008, and then I got Halo, and around that time was when Street Fighter 4 came out. So I was always into Street Fighter since when I was young.
mm,
But when Street Fighter 4 came out, I was playing a lot in my clan, so I was just always talking to other people, and because that game became such a big part of my life, I'm like, I need to start my own little team and in the clan, and we had to like recruit people and do all these things, and it kind of fell apart because I kind of made the FGC in the clan, and then there's too many games. It's like, okay, these people are playing Marvel, we're playing this, we're play like it was just too hard to keep it together, so I kind of
it's a
stopped
lot.
playing Halo and focused
Yeah.
on like just Street Fighter 4. And that was like 2000, yeah, 2009, 2010. And then I moved to California. So I'd always lived in New York, and I moved to California to follow my dream of working in the video game industry, and it was amazing. And when I was out there, I just got into like watching the live streams and everything from New York. I was like, why didn't I find this stuff when I was there? Like I knew about it, but I wasn't
Yeah.
really like into it, like going to events. So when they had the 25th anniversary tournament series, the finale or like the last tournament was in San Francisco, and I was
All right.
living there. So I was like, I gotta go. Like this is gonna be amazing. I was so like excited. It was the first time that I actually got to like see and meet like Daigo, Infiltration, like, every like all the gods. And it was just like so cool to be there and watch like all the people that you loved playing all their like top games. So it was every like, Street Fighter 2, 3, like everything. And it was so cool. And after that, like after watching, I think I've said this before, but after watching um Tokido and MOV play Third Strike, and like
Mm.
MOV completely demolished him in 18 seconds, I was like, I need to start playing. Like that was the moment. It was like in 2012. That was the moment that I was like, I need to start competing. I like Chun-Li. MOV is a beast. Oh my god, I need to do this. So I just was like, I'm gonna enter the next tournament. That's whatever it was, which was NorCal Regionals in
Okay.
April of 2013. So that's how I started to get into that.
Was that your first major when you entered in FGC?
Yeah. That was like
How
my
was that
first.
like?
Terrifying.
Terrifying? Well,
um
okay, so I know I've been around for a while in the community. And by your timeline standards, you would have been considered an 09er, right? Back then.
oh yeah, for sure. I'm
For sure. Uh how was it like, you know, being a woman, and we know, you and I both know that, being honest, how the community isn't always great for in terms of women in the spaces they share in the community. So how was that for you going to your first major as a woman? Just like, and I'm sure it's a big contrast to, even, I don't know if you've gone to local tournaments before that, or did you just kind of throw yourself in the fire? That was your first tournament of any kind. Like, what was that overall like experience entering
so
into the fray?
so for so before that, so for like Halo stuff, it was MLG. So
Mhm.
there was not many girls. Me and my team were the only all-girl team. There was like, a couple
Yeah.
of girls in other teams, but nothing major, nothing sponsored, nothing like that. But it was terrifying, of course. And then I did stuff with Raw Gameplay. I was brought on as like the Halo consultant. So, because it was like Halo Reach and like a whole bunch of Halo games were coming out and they wanted to branch
Mhm.
out. So I came on to do all of their Halo content, and then I fell in love with it, like the fighting game stuff, and they helped me do or just like learn everything about Street Fighter 4. And they would take me to local tournaments. So
Okay.
I knew Kramer, Craymore. I knew like a whole bunch of random people from the city that did a lot of stuff because I saw them at the local tournaments, like always winning.
Right.
But going to like NorCal regionals, that was like a different world. It was in the West Coast. It was just a lot more pro players, a lot more players from around the world. It was like completely different from what I was used to in New York.
Mhm.
Um, but I just remember walking in, and I remember seeing I think Sherry, um, oh my god, Persia, and then one girl behind the registration. And then I was the fourth girl in the room, and I was like, "Oh my god."
Wow,
I
that's it.
was just like, "Oh my god." Like, you scan the room and you're like, "Oh my god, that's Justin Wong. That's Chris G.
Mhm.
Oh my god." Like you're just like trying to see what's going on, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh my god." Like I remember just freezing, and I had a lot of people come with me like that wanted to support me. I had a couple of coworkers that were just excited for me to like start playing and just competing. So they were just like, "You're fine, like you're good, like
Mhm.
whatever." And I just remember being really scared to be there, but it wasn't because I was a girl. It was just because it was like, the nerves of just being at a tournament and like, oh my God, I have to
Right,
play
it was,
against
yeah.
people I don't know and just like all this stuff. But as I started playing casuals, like it became a little bit easier. And one of the guys is like, I was playing against him, and he just looks at me and he was like, I wish my wife was here and she could play and see that you're here playing. Like she would like love this, but she couldn't. Like I wish she would be more into it and all this stuff. And he was just like, "This is so cool, keep doing it." And like that's a lot of the comments that I would get. Like I haven't had, thank God, knock on wood, like I haven't had a really bad experience in the FGC since I've started. And I've been to so many tournaments, like, around the world and stuff. And I've just had a really good experience. It's just scary, like going
Right.
into it, going to play MLG and just video games in general. There is, not a big girl population in it. But for some reason, I always find all the girls that play it, and like we have so much fun together. So I, I was definitely super scared, but after you just jump in, it's just like, okay, what's the next one? And
What's the
after
next one?
that, the
That's
next
it.
one was Evo. Like I went from NorCal Regionals to Evo, and I'm
Man.
not the best player. I'm not very good, but I just like competing and like being around the community and all that stuff. And it was just like a different kind of feeling. And I just always enjoyed that.
Who's your main?
Chun.
Chun.
Chun
That's it.
Li
That's the
for
only
life.
person for life.
Yeah,
Okay.
so when I first started playing, I played on controller, and it was so
Mm,
hard to play with Chun. I was just like, "I can't do this. Oh my god." I hated playing because I didn't have a fight stick at that time until I started
right.
playing with, until I became part of Raw Gameplay, and they lent me, like a Mad Catz, like, Marvel 3, like, one of
Mm,
the original sticks. I love those
yeah.
sticks. Um so I started playing and I couldn't play Chun. I was so upset. I'm like, I couldn't play Chun on the fight stick either. So I was like, let me play. So I picked a random character, which was Ibuki. So I played
Hmm.
Ibuki when I first started playing Street Fighter 4. And
Okay.
then once I started competing and like playing a lot more, I just picked up Chun. I was like, wow, what was I like having an issue with this? I guess I just learned how to do different moves and like plinking and all that stuff. So it was just much easier, and I just never looked back.
I think once you have to get immersed into it, like you just, subconsciously pick up habits. I remember like first returning. I mean, I was always a part of the community for many years, uh, especially locally. I just didn't go out to events, and then like late 2009 when I actually started going out to big events and stuff like that. And I remember like returning and playing on a fight stick, and I couldn't play on a square gate. Like it was an issue that I had. Like I just couldn't play on a square gate,
Mhm.
and I had to go make a modification. Get an octo gate instead.
Yeah.
And I played on the octo gate for many years, which was kind of like a godsend in a way because uh, this is my pet peeve in tournaments, and I'm sure it'd be up. I'm sure the people out there that agree. I hate someone I don't know asking me to borrow my stick. I
Yeah.
hate it. I think it's the worst habit, and they do it on all levels, like new players, pro players. I don't understand pro players how you travel miles to compete in a tournament and you don't have a fight stick. Like, how do you go to a gunfight without a gun? That to me is crazy. And I used to like that was a saving grace for me. I mean, I got to the point where I just flat out say no, like and I didn't want to be mean, but it happened so often.
Yeah.
But one of the saving graces was I would just say, "Oh, I got an octagate." And they go, "Oh," and they would just walk away, like So
It's like, "Why are
that
you
was a
mad? You don't have one."
yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't have a stick. Like you're mad at my octagate. And then one day I woke up and I got used to the square gate, and I started playing square gate. So I get the adjustment you make after a while. Just being around the
Mhm.
community and and being present, being active. Um,
Yeah.
I
I think it was
I
just
I
me
know.
practicing
Mhm.
more.
Yeah, of course you practice and stuff. Um, and then I buy sticks, right? And then that's a new process to
Mhm.
go back and change the gate. So I guess
Yeah.
I just didn't decide not to change it. And then, well, I got used to it. So, it works out that way. Um,
Well, I have a question for you. What is your favorite
yes,
fight stick? Like, what is your favorite fight stick?
my favorite fight stick has probably been like the Mad Catz T2. Like, uh,
Mhm. Mine
those
too.
were always good. Um, I sometimes I swap them out depending on how I feel. I was playing with a ball bat.
Oh,
The bat,
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Because that's an old school. Like I'm a '90s
Yeah.
arcade kid, So
Mhm.
that was like it gave me like an old school feel. Um, I currently use a
Okay.
Razor Pantera, which I
Yeah.
think are fine. I think the best stick ever made is the Hori Vulix, which is like the
Mhm.
huge ones that like they're
Yeah.
this
I
big and
know
they're
which one
really
you're talking
heavy.
about. They're like my
And
size. They're like my
yeah,
height.
pretty much. You're like you're right, yeah. And I I always whenever they release them, I never buy them. And then when I have the money and I want them, they're gone,
They're
right? And
Mhm.
like I see them used on eBay for like $700. I'm not paying $700 for
Yeah.
already a $400 stick, with someone's grease hands on them. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't want to do that,
I
you
re
know.
I r when you were talking about like lending people sticks, like I have always, I'd be like, yeah, use my stick. I always had like baby wipes or like what is it, like the Lysol wipes. I always had
Yeah,
that
yeah.
from like the beginning. I remember, I think I was talking to Dominion or something, and he was like, "That's genius. Why don't more people clean their sticks?" I'm like, "It's disgusting. Yeah, like we
It's
need to clean this
disgusting.
stuff because it's pretty gross. Because you don't know, like people eat and people do all these other
Hmm.
things, and like
And it
you
gets
need
in
to
all
clean
the
your
nooks and
stick.
crannies. Like
It's
you ever take
gross.
apart? Yeah, you ever take apart your stick? Like, oh, my button doesn't work. I remember. I forget his name. Gun something. He comes to like the big events. He used to do mods. Like he was set
Okay.
up shop the whole weekend and do mods. And like I watched him take apart this guy's stick who was like he was crying. He just lost a tournament and like a button was working. And it was like he's like, "Yo, this is why you lost." And he was like, "All this gunk wasn't in one button."
Ew.
And I was just like, "Dude, what are you having like a 5 course dinner on your fight stick? Like
That's
as
gross.
you're as you're playing, you know?" Then like
Yeah, I
so.
don't put any food near it. Like no, get it. It's like a no. It's too expensive.
Mm-mm. I even
I
encourage when my good friends borrow my fight stick. I'm like, if it's not like Steve, which is like my best friend, my buddy, like I know he's good. If it's not him, I don't want anyone using my fight stick. It's just like, oh my god, I don't know what you're gonna do to it. Like, I've seen people as soon as they get it, they're pressing the buttons really hard. I'm like, I don't press my own buttons like that. You're breaking my buttons. Like, what's wrong with you, man? This is why you don't have a fight stick, I guess. You know, it's
um I remember the first, so I started playing on the Mad Catz TE2, and it was no, it wasn't Marvel 3, it was Marvel 2. It was a Marvel 2 one, and I love that one.
mm,
So when I started going to gaming events in general, like right before I moved out to get my like dream job, I
mhm.
remember going to PAX Prime, which is PAX West now, in like 2010, and they had the Chun Li. They had a Mad Catz booth, and they had the Chun Li stick, and I was like,
the,
oh
the
my god,
Chun-Li TE2, one
oh
of the most
my
coveted
god.
of
I
the
was just
sticks.
like, oh my god, and it was on sale for $180, and I was like, that is so much
Uh,
money. Like, oh my god, like the whole week, and I was looking at it, and I was like, damn, I can't, like, I couldn't afford it. Like, I was there for work, and I was still like
mhm,
in college, or I had just finished college, so I didn't have like a job because of the recession and all this stuff. So I was like, damn, I don't really need this, but I want it. And I remember regretting it. Like I didn't buy it. I didn't buy
and
it
you
there.
get it. Yeah.
And then the same thing happened like when I could afford it, when I moved like a year later, I had like a really good job. I had all this extra money and it was like $500. And it was a
Oh, of
X
course.
was it the Xbox? No, it was a PS3 version. And back
Oh,
then,
geez.
like, all the tournaments were on Xbox. So like I
Mhm,
was like, I do not wanna get this, to get it modded and to get all this stuff, so I was just, like, so sad because I really, really wanted that damn stick, and at
mhm,
my first was it my first EVO? Yeah. At my first EVO, a lot of the other tournaments didn't have, like, so many vendors, like, they always had that one
mhm.
person fixing sticks and, like,
Right.
selling buttons and, like, shirts, but, like, at EVO, it's, like, a different rodeo, like, there's, like, everything you
Evo.
could think of. So,
There,
at
yeah.
that EVO, it was 2013, I went and I was, like, playing with a group of friends, and then a random person came up and they had that stick, but it was completely custom. It was, like, all the buttons were blue and yellow instead of, like, the normal colors,
Yeah, right.
and
Yeah.
I was like, You just bought this?" And she was like, "Yeah, there's a booth that's selling them," and I was like, "Holy," like, I for some reason, I didn't, like, look around or anything. I was just, like, playing, and I remember running over, and the guy was like, "We just sold one." I was like, "God damn."
No.
And I was like, "Fuck." I almost cried, and then he's like, "No, no, no, but I have one in Vegas," or, like, wherever he was going,
Mm.
um, "but I'll get it to you, and I'll send it to you, it'll be, like, dual modded, 250." I was like, "Yes, just send it." Like, it was, like, including shipping, including dual mod I was like, "Yes. Yes, 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 please," and I still have it, and I love that damn stick.
Oh,
I
do you
like
have
it
it
better
that we
than
can see it?
yes, hold on.
Yeah. Yeah. For those listening, I'm asking her to actually bring the sticks. She can show it to us because, like, I mean, she went through hell. It seems to get that. It's only right that we can see, you know, the fruits of her labor. So while she's getting your state member, you can always listen to us on all of our streaming channels. We have it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts. And she's back. So we're going to see Fight Stick. Yes. Yes, that's awesome. You deserved it. You deserved it. Do you still use it today?
No, because I need to mod it, and
Okay.
I haven't brought. It's so heavy. It's one of the. So I like this fight stick because it's heavy. But also just carrying it around, I just never did, and I need to get it modded. I also updated the buttons and the ball top, but I fucking hate these buttons, so I stopped playing them because they
What
were
buttons are
so
those?
like they're regular Sanwa ones, but they're kind of like my finger stick. It's so weird, and it's
Is it?
because they're clear.
It's probably because they're the silent ones. I remember like people were upset. I have
Mm-mm.
so like I kind of like KPB'd my original TE stick, and when we started out, like a little know, we're mostly purple, like it's our team color, but we started out with
Mhm.
orange. I don't know why we did orange, and it just seemed like a good thing at the time. It was like a reddish orange, and so my
Mhm.
stick was like basically like had the orange buttons, but I bought these silent stand buttons, so like you couldn't hear it because I felt like I was playing people, especially in KOF back then, who would react to my button pressing,
Mhm.
and I
That was
used
a
to
big
hate that.
thing.
Yeah, so I got these silent, and I love the silent buttons for me. Like I can just do whatever. Um, but people will, again, try to borrow my stick, and on top of it being an octagon gate, they hated the buttons. They're like, "Well, why are they like
Mhm.
this? Why?" Because they're silent, so you can't hear them. Like, oh,
It
that's
was
dumb. I'm like, yeah.
I remember not with it was a different stick. I remember getting silent, and it was so weird. Like I
Mm.
need to hear it. Like it was so weird. Like I felt like I hit it harder. I hit the buttons
Oh,
harder to hear it. I was like, I can't. This is too weird. Like I felt like I wasn't doing it right. So I
I
could
can
never
I can
do
understand
silent.
that. I
Mhm.
could totally understand that. Like for me, again, I felt like for some reason I could almost call it they would react to my button pressing,
Yeah.
and I had to find a way. And then I saw these silent buttons. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get these. And it came in orange, which was
Mhm.
my team color at the time, for sure. That's a no brainer. So I definitely did that.
Now I want to get like the regular oh crap. The regular ones that are just like solid. I just want to get
Hmm.
those, but it looks cute, but then I just stopped using it when I got the PS4, I got the next one up, the next Mad Cat one, but it was
So
just
was
so
that the
big.
TE3?
Mhm.
Oh,
I didn't like
I
it.
had
I
okay,
have
I
that
had
one
that one.
too.
I had the
I
Chun
have
Li
it.
one.
I have all these six.
Yeah, I had the Chun Li
Let me
one. I
bring it
think
out.
I
Let me bring it out. I'm gonna bring it out.
okay,
Hold on.
show off. Just a show off, yo. She's going out to show more sticks. Um, if you're listening, oh, see if I, oh, that one, that was also a good one. Yes, we're going to talk about that when she comes back. Yes. If you didn't hear that, well, my producer, Steven, brought up the Street Fighter Cross Tekken sticks, which were
The Fight
also
Stick
dope.
collection.
Yo, Steve brought up an awesome stick too that I forgot that was a favorite and I
Which
couldn't get,
one?
which was the Street Fighter Cross Tekken sticks.
Oh, those were really
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, the big
Those were
ones.
really nice.
Those were great, and I didn't get it again.
Wait,
Situation when I
wasn't it
had the
this one?
opportunity.
This one? Wasn't it?
Um,
Hold on. It was, I think these were the cross Tekken. Well, this was the first fight stick that I got.
yeah, we
The Mad Cats one?
yeah.
The Was it the one that they gave out that was gold?
No, those were the Evo ones that year. You
There
mean?
was this there was a metal Mad Cats one that was
Yes,
black.
there was a medal
That
that was
was
they
my
gave out. They gave out the TOs, I think, and different
they
TOs in
gave
the
it out to
community.
somebody.
Yeah, I remember. I remember
Yeah,
they gave out those.
this was the style of the Tekken, the cross Tekken.
Right. There was
I
another
didn't
one
like
that
the
was like a bigger one. It was a bigger one than that, and like
yeah,
it had like studs, I think, around the sides of it, like screw-in
yes,
studs, and it was a bigger base, and you actually can connect it. Like there was a piece that you paid $20 for, and you connected the two sticks together. Like I guess they were trying to
Hmm.
make this like an arcade. I'm guessing the end goal was to have like a lot of 2v2 competitive situations for the game, and it
Yeah.
never came to that. So, but they did that, so they had it together, and you had the piece that connected. So it was kind of like you're playing side to side, and I wanted one of those so bad, and I
I
didn't get them.
this one I didn't like it because the buttons are Xbox buttons, so they don't go like other normal sticks. So it's
Mm.
not the same setup. It's very weird. So I had to change everything and I actually had to like switch stuff like inside to make it like
Yeah.
just
Hmm.
match up with the normal one. I was like, why did you do that? They were like, oh, because it's Sanwa. They didn't really like it wasn't a game, so they didn't have to do it. I'm like, that's dumb. Why didn't you just keep it? But whatever. This was my first ever stick, and I love this one. And I've had these buttons custom since um going to NorCal regionals. Like I remember that was like the first, I was like, yes, I need to get it Chun-Li colors, and I love this
That's
stick. It was just really light. Like I like the weight of the T2 fight sticks. Like I was just so
yes,
used to
yes.
it. This is really light, but I got used to it.
For
But I
those
love this
listening
thing.
to the audio, she's showing us the Sanrio Hello
Oh
Kitty
yeah,
cross Street Fighter collaboration stick that came out a while back. So those are pretty cool
I
too.
love that. Yeah, that was. What's funny is most of these sticks, other than the Chun Li one, have been gifts,
Okay,
and
nothing wrong with
it's just
gifts. We like
really
gifts.
random. Like I got this gift like when they first came out, and they were just like really hard to get, and one of my coworkers just got it for me so I could use it for the tournament, and I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
cried. I was like, they're so beautiful. Like
Oh,
what? And yeah, and then I have this
yes, that
one.
one. That's a good stick too.
It's
That's
my
actually a
least
good stick.
favorite. It's my least
Really,
favorite. Mhm.
I hate
I don't
the regular Horis, not the huge ones. I hate the regular VLXs
I didn't
or
like
VLX.
yeah, I didn't like Hori sticks either. Um, I usually have these out, but because I don't have my living room set up, that they're
I'm
difficult.
sorry, I'm making you go through your collection. Yeah, she's going through her vast collection of
But
Super
this
Arcade
one I
Fight sticks.
did get also custom, and it's the Evo ball top. And
Nice,
then
yes.
I did like Guile, and I wanted to learn Guile, so I just
Mm-hmm.
got the button of him beat up and
Gals
Chun.
a natural progression, being that they're charge characters, so that's a
Mhm.
natural
Yeah, so
progression
I
for everybody.
liked I'm like I needed to get the two beat up versions, but yeah. I think the art is cool and everything, and I love that this is just super easy to open
Mm-hmm.
because with my other stick, like I loved how easy it was to just open and stuff, but it's just big. Like I
She
couldn't
likes
fit it into any
fast stuff.
bag. It was
Oh my
crazy.
god,
It was just,
I almost got like body cavity searched bringing like one of these sticks on. Yeah, it was crazy. Like, and I did the right. Okay, the first time I ever traveled with a fight stick was I went to traveled by plane or fight stick was I went to TFC in 2013. Um, I went to TFC. I took a plane and I left from LaGuardia, and we go and like I get stopped at during the check-in. They're like, oh, what is this? And like this guy like screaming top of his lungs. I'm like, oh my god, what's in my bag? Because it's crazy. People actually might sneak stuff in your bag and stuff, and you never
yeah.
realize. So I'm thinking like they found a gun and I'm going to jail and I don't know what happened. And there's one guy comes over and he's like, no, it's cool, man. It's just a fight stick. There's a bunch of guys like him and coming through the gates today with like just check it out and scan it, but it's good. And he's like, next time you got to take it out of your bag, man. You can't leave it in your bag. I was like, oh, that's it. No one told me. I didn't know you couldn't keep
Yeah.
this in your bag. So that was that. And then I remember one time going to Evo in 2016. Yeah, 2016. I went to Evo and leaving out of Newark. And I remember they pulled me to the side for like half an hour. Like they're like, we have to check it. They opened it up. They put like powder in my fight stick and whatever. And like they thought it was like a bomb or something. And I'm like,
Yeah. It's because of all the
oh my god.
wires.
Yeah, yeah, and it was like, and I did it right. I took it. It wasn't in a bag. I took it out, to make sure that it was out of the bag by itself, and it's just like, oh man, I'm going to jail, almost missed my flight, but it, it worked out. I just had to get like an air can and like dust it out because it
That
was like crazy.
sucks.
Yeah, yeah. So not fun
Yeah,
to fly with flight sticks.
yeah. That's why like I like the small like probably the Hello Kitty one is probably the best one to travel with. I had the
Mm.
Panthera, but then the buttons stopped working, so I stopped
Oh,
using that one. Like, I don't know, it was weird. Um, but now I have my Equinox one, and that has become my favorite stick. But I want to get this one modded so I could use
okay.
my Chun stick because I remember Chris G used this one. I don't know if he still uses it. I remember he had his Chun stick
Oh, he
for
was famous for
years.
that for years. Yes,
Yeah,
he
like
won many tournaments with
I
that stick.
remember when I saw him with it, I was like, "Damn, even he has it. Like I want it. I want this stick." But he had it for years. Like that's the only stick that he played on and I
I think
understand.
he
It's amazing.
sold it when he was moving to California from New
Oh,
York.
he might have.
I think he put it up on, I have him as a friend on Facebook, and he put it up for sale
Yeah.
along with other things that he didn't want to carry. Um, yeah, that sticks definitely has some mileage. It's
Yeah.
definitely FTC memorabilia. But you mentioned Equinox, which is a great segue into my next part.
I
Tell
know.
us about Equinox Gaming and what do you do for Equinox and what are they about? What are they like?
Okay.
Yeah,
Um
let me know the details.
okay, so I apart from before I start this, I love this stick. Like this is
Is that the
apart
Kwamba
from
Dragon?
yeah, no, Obsidian. This is the
Obsidian,
Obsidian.
yeah.
The
Yeah,
one
she's
that,
showing
like,
the
has the
the
legs.
Kwamba Obsidian. Yeah, she's showing us for
Yeah, and
those
it has,
listening.
like, really nice custom art, like, the ball everything about it I love. Like, it's just really big. Like, I can't carry it, so I have, like, the
Yo,
Kwamba
can
bag.
you get me one? Because my team doesn't give me fighting sticks, man.
I'll talk to
Maybe,
Emily. We'll see what we can do.
maybe.
Um, but so I knew so Emily is the team owner, her and, Tim. And they started Equinox when was it? Oh my goodness, 2017, I believe?
Hmm.
2018? But I had known Emily since I was working for the gaming industry. We both did stuff for Ubisoft. She was also, an intern, during the time that I was an intern, and we got really close. She used to live in Philly. Like, there was not many people that lived in the city or, like, the area, so whenever you found especially for me, a girl that lived in, like, the tri-state kind of, like, we were all like, we became really good friends, and we always kept in contact. Um, she did her own thing and started doing stuff for, oh my god. She was, like, a team oh my god, why am I blanking? She was she worked with AJ. Oh,
A
oh my god.
cool, great, cool
Cool
AJ, cool
yeah.
AJ.
She did the social media.
Yes,
Yes. I think it
Evil
was it
Geniuses.
no, what was the next one after Evil
Oh,
Geniuses?
Echo Fox.
Yes, so she became a social media manager for them, and I was like, "What? You're into fighting games?" Like, I had no idea, like, I was just like both of my worlds were colliding, and I was so excited for
Mhm.
her, and, like, it was so funny because that was her first go into Street Fighter and, like, the FGC, just, like, small invitationals. So, like,
Okay,
she came from a different side of it when, like, I came from a lot of, like, grassroots and just, like, a lot of local stuff that's, like, completely different, it's a different world from,
right.
like, invitationals and, like, top play and all this stuff. So when she started it, she started doing stuff with Tekken. She has
Okay,
like one of the best teams out right now, which is crazy. And they just have an eye for that. And they go for like people that they feel um is just like good people. I don't know. Like they have a
right.
really good vibe. They like I've loved them and they feel like a family. And all the players also exude that as well. So when she wanted to expand, she hit me up and she was like, "Hey, I have a team, and like from the start she told me about it, and I was like so happy for her and like excited because I thought it was so cool that she wanted to bring like a different side to like the community and like encourage and like promote and do all these really wonderful things. And then she's
Hmm.
like, hey, do you want to like help out with the Street Fighter side? I have no idea about what's currently going on, and I would like for you to like come on the team and just like be that um liaison or whatever. So I was like, hell yeah, of course, I'll help out any way I could. That's where it went from there. I'm a streamer for them, and I've played competitively, but I'm not one of the pro players. But they treat me like a pro player, which is
That's good.
important.
That's good.
But
So
they
are you like the scouting head for the Street Fighter talent,
mm, mm, I
or
guess
lend to
it
that?
was kind of, yeah. I've
Okay.
helped at least one person become part of the team, which I was proud of.
Okay.
Um, but it's been an awesome like ride to see the team grow and just like how the players have just done amazing, and just like it's been a wild ride. So I really
Awesome.
love being
Awesome.
part of the team and what it stands for. And they do a lot of charity work. So whenever we do streaming stuff, because I used to stream a lot more before, I haven't
Mm.
done so much. But whenever they're like, hey, we're gonna do this thing for breast cancer or for anything else, like I always jump on to help wherever I can.
Awesome. Awesome. What how what do you see them doing, or what do you see them doing in the future? I know like we're living in a pandemic world now, and things are a lot different. Um, we definitely miss offline events. I miss coming around and bothering you whenever I see you, saying
I
something
know
snide to you,
I miss it.
or whatever, starting trouble with you when along with everybody else. That's what I do when I'm not streaming. Um, and how have they, like been able to adapt to like this new society that we're living in right now, which, to be honest, may not change for a while. Like,
hmm
how are you guys coping?
Well, they've been doing a lot of like online tournaments and reaching out to the community that way, and just like keeping that momentum going to like getting new people and just getting more hype around all the stuff that we already love, and just doing it in a way that's very like natural, and like you can tell that the entire team cares. And I think
Hmm.
that's very important, and just it brings a good it brings the good out of the community. And like it's sometimes it could be toxic and just like people complain. That's what you see on Twitter and you see everywhere. But like I feel like our team really brings the good out of people. So I just see them continuing to do that, hopefully doing more like in-person events because they wanted to do stuff like that. um
Hmm.
we even talked about having a team sneaker, because a lot of us
Okay,
are like sneakerheads on the team.
that's awesome.
But that would be amazing. Oh my god. But yeah, it's hard to say because it's like everything right now in the world is kind of like up in the air, and it's crazy to me it's gonna be a year that stuff shut down here in the city.
Hmm.
So like it still feels like it's March from last year in my head. So I don't know.
Yeah,
A
and
lot of people feel like that too.
yeah, in some ways, it does feel like there was an eerie feeling, I have to say, when this whole thing started. Like
Mhm.
like we had no idea what tomorrow was going to bring. Um,
Mhm.
I honestly felt like the virus, the way it was described and how it took hold of us in the beginning, it was going to kill a lot more people a lot faster. And by the grace of whatever, it didn't, and I'm very happy for that. Um, but I was like thinking like dystopian future at this point. Like people are just going to like disappear to the point where governments are like, no longer
Mhm.
functioning because that's where my mind was going for a while before things got better, especially in that March April time.
Yeah, it was very surreal. I remember at the beginning of last year, it was just a lot of the government videos were coming out from like China and just like all that craziness. But then you started hearing about disappearances and people started getting sick. And like, I feel like a weird like group of videos came out. I'm like, what the hell's going on over there? Like, it felt like something was happening, but you didn't know what. And then
Right,
Kobe, like the thing with Kobe really messed me up. I
right.
remember that. And that was
Rest
like
in
the
peace,
first
Kobe.
hit that was the first, and I'm not really a fan of Kobe. People know
Mhm.
me for years. I never really liked the Lakers or anything like that, but I
Right.
did respect him and everything that, he is an
Yes, was.
amazing, or he was an amazing player and just like all around person and all that stuff. So when that happened, I was just like, "Oh my God." Like it really hit me. Like I remember crying when I found out. I was like, "Yo, this is like what the hell?" Like
Oh man.
it just blew me away. Like really, it really did.
Listen, like I totally have a rule of thumb, right? When it comes to like news happening, um, I don't know if you remember when Michael Jackson died. When Michael Jackson died, the first outlet to report it was TMZ, and like up
Yeah.
until that point, TMZ was kind of like this joke, definitely tabloid, whatever. You're just making up stuff for hits, and
Mhm.
they claimed their legitimacy like that day, like when they were the first to report
Yes,
Michael
they
Jackson
were.
dying, like hours before any major news outlets did. And
Mhm.
from that point on, like whenever I hear something on TMZ, I don't sit home and watch TMZ. Like I don't do anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
but when the TMZ article pops up in front of me, like okay, and there's something serious, like let me read it. So I remember like that Sunday, like
Yeah.
before
It
the
was a
news outlets,
Sunday.
the
Oh
first
my
thing was a
god.
TMZ report of Kobe, and I was like, oh man, I got sick because one, I felt like it shouldn't have been his time. He just retired
Yeah.
from basketball.
Mhm.
Two, TMZ reported it, which to me now you have credibility because you by hook or crook you're the first ones with the scoop, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like I'm telling people and they're like, no, it's not true. They
Mhm.
didn't even report it on the news. I'm like, and it sounds silly to say, but I'm like, listen, TMZ reported it. It's true, you know. And yeah, I had to say that, because that was my experience, and
Mhm.
it was
No,
like, yeah, that was just like the start of like such a crazy year that still hasn't ended.
yeah.
I feel like we're
Um,
still in 2000, 2000 new game plus, you know.
like it was very surreal. Like in the beginning of the year, it was just like very different for me. I I've been going to Evo since 2013, and I
Mm,
usually, whenever they have everything go live, which in the past couple years they do all of their like their game lineup, everything in January. So like whenever
mm.
they did that, I already had all my stuff paid for, registered. Like I'm on it in January, and
Early bird
last year
prizes,
I didn't even like care. Like, and this was
yeah,
before all of the COVID stuff. Like I remember by
mm,
the time the Kobe thing happened, I was like, "What? I haven't gotten anything for Evo yet. Like, what the hell?" And they announced all that stuff, and I was just like, it was something in the air that was just like, "Nah, I'll just wait." Like, I'm glad I
yeah,
waited, but like, it was just weird. It just felt different for some reason, and the Kobe thing really hit me. Like, it was just like, whoa, like
yeah.
life is very precious, and like it was just very, very weird. Like it gave a eerie vibe to the rest of the year, and it was crazy.
I think visuals say a lot, for me anyway. And I'm old enough to talk about 9/11 and what how New York City was at the time.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
remember like I used to spend a lot of time as a kid in Times Square, um, just going to arcades and stuff. And I remember like the first Tuesday, like a week removed from 9/11, like
Yeah.
just going down to Times Square and nobody was in the street,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And it was so surreal that I honestly didn't even go near the World Trade Center area for about 4 or 5 years because I
I
used to hear
didn't
stories
either.
about,
So
yeah, I hear stories about you can still smell the flesh of people burning from the buildings.
God.
Like, yeah, I see that. So this pandemic comes, right? We're in 2020, and like, we're both from the Bronx, right? And
Yeah.
I make my way just to get out of the house, right? I make my way down to. I live in Westchester County in Mamaroneck, and I go down to the Bronx just to like I need to see something. I've been at home. We've been quarantining. I need to get out. I need air. And to see Fordham Road of the Bronx empty, like in the middle
That's
of the
creepy.
day, that's creepy. I'm born and raised in the Bronx. I've never seen there's more people at night than it was
Yes,
in the
there is.
day. And that was just so telling of the world that we're in and what's happening. to me, and I can never like. I'm talking about I get off the Metro North and I'm on Fordham Road, right by the Best Buy, across from right by
Yeah.
Fordham University, and
Hmm.
nobody's there. Like there's
That
none of
square
the
is
like
usually full.
yeah. There's nobody. None of the like the the what you call it, the guys preaching and whatever. Nobody's
Hmm.
out there doing
Yeah,
nothing.
there's
I'm like,
always
wow.
a bunch of people there. Yeah.
There's always chaos. There's always someone being stupid. It's like there's nobody. And I was like, wow, this whole thing is real. So yeah, I mean, it has definitely been a disruption, but I know we've been able to make most of it in our current situation. And I think like anything else in our human history, you just gotta adapt, right, and survive.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's kind of what we're built for. That's what we're here for. It's always to
Yeah.
adapt and survive the different things and challenges that come our way as human beings. So
Yeah, it's just so surreal that it's already a year later and it feels like nothing's changed. Like nothing,
nothing's changed. Very
like it's
little,
been stuck. It's been stuck in the same loop every day, Groundhog's Day, since
Groundhog Day.
March 9th was when I was sent home from work, or
Mm-hmm.
they didn't really say for us to go home. They were just like, it's recommended. Like they
It's
didn't send us
recommended.
home, but I was like, I'm going home. I'm out of here. I don't want to be in the
I
city.
work in education. They had us here an extra week, which sucked.
Oh my God.
Yeah, de Blasio took a lot of heat for that. So
Yeah. In the
yeah,
beginning,
that
they were like, "Oh no, it's not so bad," and
mm.
nobody
Yeah,
knew. Nobody knew.
it's just the cold, the flu. Like it's rough, but we're
Yeah.
here and we made it. I know I've been fortunate enough not to know anyone that personally that has passed away, but I know people who definitely lost people for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
a ton of that. So I mean, you'd be hard pressed not to know someone or at least one person removed from someone that's passed away at this
Mhm.
point.
But
So
it's crazy, like, since I've been doing a lot more skating, and that's why I started skating, because I realized I don't have any outdoor activities that I do,
mhm.
like everything I do is like work online. I play video games. Like I don't really need to be outside and I'm okay with that. But like as the quarantine got longer and longer, I was like, I need to do something outside before I go crazy. But meeting people
You're
from
totally
different
awesome. You're like totally awesome with the segues because that was my next thing. We're gonna talk about this hobby of yours, like this that like you seem like you're a pro now. Like you've been skating for 2 days and you're doing spins. I see your Instagram video, you're doing like moonwalks and you're jamming and stuff. And it's like, tell me about that. So yeah, now we know that
Okay.
that came out of quarantine. So
Yeah, so I'd been really into skating always, but I just couldn't skates and just skating and hobbies like this are very expensive, and I didn't really have much time. I was working full time. I was like traveling, like with the schedule that we had as people that work production for tournaments, like all your weekends. That's why it was like so weird for me, like all our weekends by January already booked. Like we already know where we're going to be for most of the year, especially like with Bifu. Like he's like, okay, these are the days or whatever, and I would put in my
mhm,
time for work. So like last year when that didn't really happen, I was just like, okay, I guess it's going to be different.
yeah.
So I couldn't justify paying so much money for skates. And I had wanted them for a while and they were like super cute, but I'm like, when am I gonna skate? I don't have time. Like you need
Mhm,
time to skate and do all this stuff. So when the quarantine hit, I was just like, I should buy skates. And like I like it was like a really big uptick because everybody was like, biking, doing
yeah.
outdoor sports. And so there was like a huge boom in that kind of like area. So it was really hard to find skates. I ordered some from like directly from the website. I did all this research. I asked a couple people, like, is this a good price? Because it's like $300 for like a lot of these skates. Like that's a lot of money,
Mhm.
especially for
It's a
just
lot.
a hobby. And I was like, damn, I don't know. Like I was going back and forth and I just took the plunge and I got my skates in July and it literally changed my life. Like
Yes.
it's been such an amazing thing, and meeting people from around the world who are also into skating and are in the same journey. So a lot of people have started like Instagram accounts and just like TikTok accounts around their journeys. So that's why I post so much. But I met like just through Instagram, I found a community here in the city called Skate Aerobics, and they're just like freaking amazing. They've some of those people have had skates longer than me, like longer or been skating longer than I've been alive, which is
Yeah.
surreal to me. But they're just like a new family. They're like really a new family. And I've been skating. So I started skating like outdoors and just like doing my own thing for a couple weeks. I found they were doing an event on the Black Lives Matter mural in Brooklyn. Like they do a lot of community events. So they had like free skating lessons on a Saturday. They had it every couple Saturdays. And I just went and it was just super fun and like so I didn't know so many people skated. Like this was like everybody's underground and everybody's coming out now.
Mhm.
So I started doing online classes with the main teacher, which is Tanya, and she's a spitfire. I love that woman. I think she's what is it? She was a boxing champion. She was
Okay.
into like a two-time champion. She does a lot of community work. She was a corrections officer. Like this woman is tough, but one of the most encouraging and loving and sweetest people. You hear her in all my videos almost. And she's just like, Francie, you go girl. I love you. Like she's amazing. And the whole community is like that. And that's what I really love. They're so encouraging and like I did the online classes for a while, so we do Zoom. So that was like weird, skating in my living room and learning to do all this stuff, like wearing all of my gear because I think that, safety is important. And once everything started like, dying down with like things were getting better, like back in August, she started doing the live classes again. And she invited me to or I went to one of them and she's like, "Oh, we're gonna do something really cool next week. You should come." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, what are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, we're gonna be on like Good Morning America. You should totally come." And I was like, I could barely
Oh
skate. Like, what?
yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, we're doing a special on like skating and they want to interview us and like I want you to come." And that was like where like kind of it just like skyrocketed because I started going to a lot of their in-person events and like I'm the way I learn, like I need to be around people to do stuff like that. So it just like I've leveled up so crazy. And it's just a lot of it is their encouragement. Like so many people, like every time you go to an event, they introduce themselves. They're like, "Oh, you don't know how to do this trick? I'll teach you." And they just want more people. They just always want more people to play. I mean, to play, to skate and just like it's so much fun. So yeah.
I
I
want to
love
try.
it.
I want to try. I want to
Yeah,
try.
it's amazing. Like you'd love it. It's surreal and I'm gonna go to the skating rink all the time now. So that's my new move, going to the skating rink. So that's
Well,
been
we are definitely
the
going
last
to
couple
talk about that in the future, and
weeks.
especially as the weather's getting warmer. So we're definitely going to
Mhm.
want to talk about that. We'll have to revisit my
Yes,
own.
yes, yes.
I don't know if it was around, but I don't know if you remember the skate key in the Bronx.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I
There
remember
was there
going
was
there
2
as a
of them,
kid.
right?
There was
There
two
was
of them.
2
There
of
was
them.
a nice one and a really gangster one in the
There
South
was
Bronx. So
one
like,
near was it Gun Hill Road, right? There was
yeah,
one
yeah, that's the original.
that
Yeah,
way and then one in 138th. I remember that.
yeah, they moved that one over there. Yeah, that's when it got bad. When like
Yeah.
it basically like violence and stuff like that. Nonsense.
Yeah, it's
But
because of the area. Like that's a
yeah, the
scary
area.
area.
It is what it is. But it's definitely a great hobby from what it sounds like. Seems like you're having tons of fun. I see your Instagram posts and Facebook, and you're having a blast. And you're like
It's
showing off
so much
your
fun
new
and
moves, and every time like it's like, oh, look
I
at her
know.
showing off. She got a new move today, so now she's gonna TikTok it.
After this, I actually have a class. I have a
Yeah,
class
I
at
know.
7.
I don't want to keep you too long, but I
Oh,
have a
no,
couple
of course.
questions. Um, let's talk about Dre and Bifuteki. I know that's how we met, working
Yes.
together and stuff, and like just being friends with Dre. That's he's another guy, a guy I respect totally. One of these days he's gonna stop messing with me and get on the show, so we can be us. But
He's always
yeah, like
busy.
he's always busy. He's always busy, and then he's kind of not busy, but he's busy. But no, I totally get it. He's always busy. Like what are your thoughts on him and like the work that he does and stuff like that?
Dre is one of my best friends. Like he has also helped change my life, and it's funny because so for NorCal Regionals, it was in April. My birthday's in April, so I bought one of his designs because they used to have all the t-shirts and stuff. So I bought the happy birthday shirt that they used to have that his wife designed, and I was like so excited because I was really into Marvel back then. Like even though I love Street Fighter and I compete in Street Fighter, I freaking love
Hmm.
Marvel. I
That's
watched
everybody.
more
The
Marvel.
secret passion from Marvel.
Yeah, I watched Marvel 3 probably more than I watched Street Fighter 4. I played a lot, but I
Mm,
watched more Marvel. So I really wanted the happy birthday shirt, and I was like, I need to have it for the tournament. That's gonna be like my Sunday shirt. And he was actually at the tournament, and he was like so excited to see my shirt, and he's like, "Oh my God, like you bought my shirt." He just like introduced himself. And after that, like every tournament, he would just say hi and just like ask how I'm doing, and like we would just like catch up and like with the whole Bifuteki crew and stuff. And
mhm,
when I came back to New York, we always just kept in contact, and he was just like, "Hey, you should, come out to events." And like he had the idea of me being a host for a long time. Like,
mhm.
you know how Dre is. He has stuff
Yeah.
going in his head for like a long time. And he was just like, "Yeah, I have all these ideas for all these really cool things, and I want you to be a part of it." He knew I had social media background, so he's like, "Yeah, like I want to do all these things for tournaments." And he just brought me on board, and it's been like a couple years now, and it's just like I've gone to so many, like I went to international stuff because of him, and just like the
Mhm.
team, and just like the it's another family, like the Bifuteki. And like you guys are also part of that family, so it's just like
Yes.
always nice to go to these events and just like you feel like it's home. And it's
Always.
funny because like we uh we hung out like a couple weeks ago with Julian as well, and we like took a trip to like Massachusetts or something, and we are just like,
Oh yeah.
this feels like we're going to a tournament. And like we had like, because we always go to like Cracker Barrel, and like we have like our things that we always did when going to a tournament, so we just did that.
Mhm.
We were so bored, we're like, we need to go to a tournament, we miss this.
I think
But
we've met up a couple of times together. Like, we would travel and then say, "Hey, we'll meet you guys there," and like we'll
uh-huh,
all eat
always at a
and
diner
stuff like that.
like right
Always at a
after.
diner. Hmm.
Like
Um, I,
I miss that so
right.
much.
I definitely liked working with you guys for Game Over in the Dominican Republic back in
That was
2019.
amazing.
That was a fun time. That was good. Some headaches, whatever comes on with the territory of streaming and getting that together.
Yeah,
But we made it work.
it was,
I I ate so much chicharron that weekend.
oh my
Like
God.
I think every day I had at least one
I
order of
think we
that.
did too. We did too. That was probably one of my top tournament experiences, and I think you could
Yes,
agree too. Like just
yes.
overall, the team, the atmosphere, everything was just like it just flowed.
The
Everything just was
community,
so right. Yes, the community was like it just blew me away, and how like welcoming they were, how
hmm
like everything was just amazing. Like I was like, damn, I want to come back. Like this is what I needed. This is what I feel like a lot of people that went to that tournament were really excited, and just like we needed this recharge. We needed it. So I was very
it
sad
was
that we couldn't
definitely.
go this year. I
Oh
was
yeah, I
very
know.
sad.
It's like, can't do a lot this year, but hopefully things will get back to normal, and we can have our shenanigans again and have a good time, and you know get back to doing what we love. I think we missed that
Hmm.
collectively.
Well, we're still doing it. We're just doing it in
We
a
are. We're
different
just
way.
doing it
And,
in a different way. Yeah, it was just not as
yeah,
fun. It's better than not
no.
doing nothing. You know.
I know it's very weird, like not seeing my, Evo was like a big thing for me, because like there's a lot of friends that we used to see going to Big E events or like East Coast events, but like when you go to
Right.
Evo, you see everybody. So I
Everybody, and you see
really
people that you don't
I
see
miss
often. Like
that,
I
just
got to
from
see the
around the
West Coast
world.
gang.
And yeah,
Yeah.
I
Because we're
miss
not
that.
from
That's
there,
like
so
one thing I missed. I was like, damn, like I don't get to see the friends. Like, I still do a lot of video calls and just like all even, it's not the same. Like you want to go
Understand.
eat with someone and just like chill and do
Yeah,
all this
laugh and hang
stuff.
out.
But
Yeah, party. You know,
yeah,
uh,
play Street Fighter
soon,
for hours.
soon. We'll get back to that eventually. I'm sure of it.
I know the
We just
first
gotta do
tournament back
the
is
right
gonna be
thing.
crazy.
It's
That's
gonna
what
be
I keep
probably
thinking
packed.
about.
I keep thinking that the first tournament that's actually gonna allow it to function in some capacity is gonna be like packed. I think people are gonna want to just come
Hmm.
out and stuff and just like have a good time again. So we'll see. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
I'm excited. I can't wait for that moment to just like see everyone, and I can't even say be normal because like this is the new norm, you know.
This is the normal.
But
Yeah, we're not going back. We're moving forward. And that's
hmm.
what I keep telling
Hmm.
people. Like, yeah, I want things back. You don't really want things back the way it was. Things happen for a reason. We
Yeah.
adjust and we move forward. So I think that's what we eventually want to do. Um, that being said, looking forward, like, you have any projects coming up? Anything you're getting involved in that you could talk about?
Um,
Anything exciting and in and out of gaming that you can talk about?
so I've been working, I'm trying to do a couple things for myself, like project wise. I'm starting a podcast with a friend that we've been talking about for years, and it's gonna be like a series kind of thing. I'll probably talk to you about like being on it and stuff, but we're still working on it. We
I'd be
can't
honored.
like give any details about it, but it's gonna be like stuff that really changed our lives, like different topics. So
Okay.
I'm working on that. I want to do a lot more stuff with skating and go from there. And for gaming, like it's hard because I feel like I haven't been really into it in a while, just because as much as like the quarantine forced us inside, like it's kind of like sometimes it was just like too sad. Like I'm like I don't want to play anything. I just don't want to do anything. But
Yeah.
now that the Street Fighter 5, like all those updates are coming out, I'm like I kind of want to play again, which I haven't said that in a really long time. So I I hope and I want to start competing again. Like that's what I want to do for the future.
Hmm.
Um so I'm going to start playing again. I've been hit up by a couple people. They're like, "Are you on the new update?" And I'm like, "No, not yet." But now I'm gonna force myself to do it.
You think in a scenario where, like, we get whatever we call normal back, right? You think your newfound passion of skating will kind of get in the way of your other activity? You think you can find a way to balance that, maybe your work life, personal life?
Yeah. I already plan on bringing all my skates, like, or bringing my skates to all events that I go to,
Okay.
and traveling because of skating and stuff. Um, I feel like there's a lot of people that have also gotten into it, like through just Instagram and Twitter, people reaching out, like, "Oh my God, I started skating too," and like all this stuff. So I'm sure there's a FGC skating crew already like coming together that are gonna
Coming
skate
together, yeah.
together when yeah. So I think that's like super cool, and I would never give up the FGC for anything. So I love the community. I love where it's taken me and like all the people that I've met. Uh it's something that I keep close to my heart and will always be a part of.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't want to hold you up too much longer. I know you got things to do. You're a busy skater. So I definitely want to thank you for just joining me today. And I had a
Yeah.
good time, learning a little bit about you. I hope to have you back in a different episode in the
Yes, of
future at some
course.
point. So you can
Anytime. Thank you so much for having me.
definitely.
This was fun.
Um, yes, definitely. Before you go, anyone that listens to this, how can they reach you on social media? They want to just say hi or appreciate your discussion, or just share a thought. Like, how do they reach you?
I'm Ohaifrancy, Ohaifrancy on almost
Oh, hi.
everything. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, hi. Um, so that's my like tag on everything. So on Instagram, on Twitter, um, I'm always very active on everything. So just hit me up and even ask me like I get hit up for like skating questions. I even at work I get hit up for like skating and video game questions all the time. So
Hmm.
I'm happy to help, and I'm all about that. I just want to get more people into whatever because it brings me joy, and I want to bring that to everyone else too.
That's awesome. Awesome. Any shout outs you want to give before you go?
I don't know. I guess the Bifuteki crew. I love you guys. And I don't know who else. I don't know. This put me on the spot. Like
I'm
everyone,
sorry. I'm
Street
sorry.
Fighter 4 people, all my Street Fighter 4 people. You know, you're all out there. It's not many of us, but who still keep the community going. I haven't played in a while, but damn, you like bring on my fight stick. I'm probably gonna play tonight too.
Okay, if you are, I might have to join you. Play some Fei Long. So
Yes.
All right.
But yeah.
Okay, man. Thank you so much, Ms. Troche, for coming on today. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And for everyone listening, once again, you can just check out this recorded conversation and any other ones on our different podcast channels. We have them open on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts. So please check it out. That being said, this is Rodimus Prime for KPB. I wish you guys a good day. Take care. And I'll see you guys soon.